All right, well, it is 10 a.m., so we will get started right on time in respect for everybody's time. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us as we begin week one of the 2021 MEAC Weekly Football Coaches Zoom Conference. I am Karen Carty, the Assistant Commissioner for Media Relations here at the MEAC, and I will serve as today's moderator for the conference. Before we begin the question and answer portion of our video conference, I'd like to remind our media members that to ask a question, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom. And when acknowledged, please state your name and indicate the media outlet that you are representing. Before we hear from our first head coach, we will turn things over to Commissioner Dr. Dennis E. Thomas. Good morning, Dr. Thomas. How are you?
Doing absolutely great, Ms. Carty. Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to the 2021 MEAC football season. And we look forward to another great season. And we know that it will go down to the last game, as it does every year. And we wish the coaches, the student athletes, and your staff the absolute best of health and the ability to play your best. Also, it's a critical time, and we cannot let down our guard in terms of COVID-19. And we encourage all of you to be vaccinated. And for those who have medical or religious conditions, we obviously hope that you will be tested and to ensure that no one that surrounds you, whether it be teammates, whether it be family or others, are not exposed. As you can see, I'm very excited. I am an excited person anyway, but I'm extremely excited this morning. And the reason why is because I attended a game this past Saturday night. And there was nobody but North Carolina Central and the MEAC and Dennis Thomas believed that Central would be successful. And Coach Oliver, one magnificent job by you and your staff. Y'all had them ready and believing and executing. And they played, and they showed the world the kind of brand of football that MEAC play, and they showed that North Carolina Central will be reckoned with this season. So I want to congratulate you and your staff, Coach. A job well done. And I want to congratulate ESPN as well for game day and all the promotional and branding of the MEAC SWAC Football Challenge this past weekend. We received a tremendous amount of exposure around the world, and North Carolina Central and Alcorn State really was on the forefront of collegiate football this past weekend and leading up to the weekend. So with that, I turn it back over to you, Ms. Carty. And again, Coach Oliver, you made us proud, and continue the good work that you and your staff are doing moving forward. And good luck to everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thomas. Now we will hear from Jeff Cunningham, the MEAC's Director of Media Relations, who will give us some updates on MEAC notes.
Good morning, everybody. Davius Richard rushed for 2 touchdowns, and Brandon Codrington returned a punt 77 yards for a touchdown in the fourth quarter on Saturday, as North Carolina Central opened the 2021 college football season with a 23-14 win over Alcorn State in the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff at Center Park Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The Eagles' victory gives the MEAC an 11-4 record over the SWAC, all time in the event. The 2021 MEAC volleyball season also started this past weekend, and Delaware State led the way by winning all 3 of its matches, recording victories against St. Peter's, Bucknell, and St. Francis Brooklyn. Howard went 2-1 over the weekend, defeating George Washington and Georgetown, while preseason favorite Coppin State swept Bethune-Cookman, and Maryland Eastern Shore defeated Manhattan. Visit MEACsports.com later this afternoon for the MEAC Volleyball Players of the Week. A slate of 5 football games are on tap this Saturday, including 2 contests, Bowie State at Delaware State and Towson at Morgan State, that will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. The 2021 MEAC cross-country season will also start this weekend, with Howard and North Carolina Central running on Friday, and South Carolina State, Morgan State, and Coppin State competing on Saturday. For information on the MEAC 16 sponsored sports, please visit our website at www.meacsports.com and follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at MEAC Sports. Karen, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. Coach Scott from Howard, are you here with us? Checking to see if he logged in. Huh? Maybe not. All right, while we put a pause on Coach Scott, we will get to Coach Oliver, who is here with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you doing?
Doing well. What a game on Saturday, at the 2021 Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge. Talk about that amazing 23-14 victory over Alcorn State.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it was just, an outstanding weekend, an event that Cricket and ESPN put on, and the MEAC, Dr. Thomas, our young men, our student athletes, thoroughly enjoyed it. And the exposure that our university got with College Game Day and GMA, it was unbelievable. The game, we talked to our kids all week about playing a championship opponent, and to be considered a good football team or a great football team, you got to beat a championship caliber team, which Alcorn was. I thought it was a very physical game, a hard fought game. For the most part, a clean game. It wasn't. Both teams are, I guess, fairly rusty, but it wasn't a real sloppy game. But they're a really good football team. I thought our young men played extremely hard, and we were fortunate enough to come out of there with the victory. But I can't say enough about our coaches and our support staff, and I tell everybody in our program, everybody's important. Whatever your job is, whether you're athletic trainer, the student trainers, the student managers, everybody's equally as important. Everybody's job counts. And I thought everybody did a great job. And I'm just so proud of my young men.
Thank you, Coach. We're all definitely proud of them as well. The defense played well, as many had expected, but the offensive unit showed that it'll be a force to reckon with this season. How pleased were you with the overall execution of the game plan on Saturday?
Well, I guess it was 2 sides of it. The first half, I thought we played first of all, again, we're very, very, very grateful for the win, but we have so much to improve on defensively. Our run fits were terrible. Our tackling was terrible in the first half, and I thought Coach Navarro did a great job of making some in-game and halftime adjustments, and that helped us, slow them down some in the second half. Offensively, penalties killed us, absolutely killed us, and we have 14 penalties. There's no way that I thought we would ever win a football game with 14 penalties. And a lot of it came up front with the holding calls, but stuff that we can get corrected. But our guys played really hard. And I think you can overcome some of those mistakes when you play with great effort. And I thought that's what we got Saturday.
Absolutely. One of several impact plays your team had on Saturday was Brandon Cordington's electrifying 77-yard run for that touchdown. Talk a little bit about that play.
We spent a whole lot of time on special teams, a whole lot. And the guys know if they don't give great effort on special teams, they're not going to play offensive defense. They take pride in it. That might be some guys, there's 10 to 12 reps a game is on special teams. So that's their time to shine. But everybody has a role, and they accept their role, and they have to excel in it. But we thought that with our return game that we'd be able to set something up and make a few plays in the return game. And I told them, Friday night that I wholeheartedly expected us to return a punt for a touchdown. And I thought he was going to get the first one, but the second one was huge, and I think that really broke the game open.
Nice. You all will be off this weekend. What is your off week schedule going to be like?
Well, we got back about, I think, 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So I gave them off Sunday. We just had treatment. Today we'll have meetings, watch the film, make corrections, and have a quick little practice. Thursday, Friday, excuse me, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will just be a regular week for us. We'll tone some stuff down to get the guys' legs back, and we have a bunch of bumps and bruises. Tuesday we won't meet Tuesday. We'll go to see the women play volleyball. We take on A&T in volleyball. So the football team is going to support the volleyball team.
Nice. We love to see the support. Coach, that concludes my questions for you this morning, but we have a few questions from the media. So Michael Jefferson.
Good morning again, Coach. And again, congratulations on the win. I was actually at the game, part of the media, on this past weekend. And one of the things that I noticed is that North Carolina Central has always been noted for their defense. But can you say that the offense really stepped up and gave your defense more time to make sure they could make the adjustment, so you were able to really, truly put a clamp on that supposedly great offense that Alcorn State supposedly had?
And well, I think the first quarter, I think we only have 2 possessions on offense. They really controlled the ball in the first quarter. We had some issues stopping the run in the first quarter. The second half, we kind of settled down, and I thought our offense did an outstanding job with controlling the tempo, controlling the clock, and running the football. And my running game got going, and obviously that opened up some passing game. But I was pleased with what our offense did Saturday, but that's not any indication about how powerful and explosive that we are. We have a whole lot of things to improve on offensively, but we did enough offensively to win that game Saturday.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Mr. James Hill.
Coach Oliver, congratulations on that victory. Can you talk about what this can do for your program as a good foundation for this season? Everybody wants to win their first game. You guys were able to get it done. Right.
And I mean, we were so excited that we did win the first game, but the first thing I said to the guys in the locker room was, this is just one game. When you get back to campus and get back to Durham, everybody's going to tell you how great you are. And we cannot listen to that. The same way we didn't listen to them when they talked about how bad of a football team we were and what's the difference between now and 2019. So, we just had to put our earmuffs on and block all that stuff out and just focus on being better, because it can really work, 2 ways for you. Obviously, we hope it's a stepping stone and it'll really jumpstart our program, our season. But at the same time, if you read the articles and people tell you how great you are, it could work against you as well.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions for Coach Oliver? All right, Coach, thank you and congratulations again for the great victory this weekend.
Thank you.
The Eagles, you're welcome. The Eagles are off, but they return to action on September 11th at Marshall. I saw Coach Scott pop in. So Coach Scott, are you here with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. How is everybody doing?
Doing well, doing well. All right, Coach. After a 2-game spring schedule last spring, you finally get into your first full season as head coach of the Bison. How tough has the wait been?
Oh man, it's been tough with all the stop and goes, and opt-outs and opt-ins and policies and testing and all of this kind of stuff. So it's been very challenging. But, within the challenge, we, through the silver lining, have found some positives to build upon through all the time. But we're happy to be back and been rolling and excited about this weekend.
Awesome. And speaking of this weekend, you'll be opening at Richmond. What do you know about the Spiders and what type of matchup are you expecting?
Oh, really good football team. Football team that's well coached and has had a lot of success in the CAA. In a really good conference. They're known. Got a really good defense this year, and I think that's what they've built the culture of that team around, which is toughness and discipline. So when you turn on the tape, you see a really well coached team. Guys are where they're supposed to be. They play hard, they play fast, and a really experienced team. With a lot of grad transfers plugged into their roster, or fourth or fifth year seniors. So a really experienced older team that's well coached.
Awesome. And what has impressed you most about the Bison in preseason camp so far?
I think just the young men's resilience to keep, with everything that we've gone through, not being here all fall, and then having, the second session of our summer be one where we all get together finally and start to train, but we still have our testing protocols and different things that we're having to work through. So just the resilience in their attitude and approach each and every day. With that, training camp had to be one that was built around toughness and development of some toughness. So some long days, some early mornings, and working into some long nights. However, they kept coming back forward and kept working and striving and doing all of those type of things. So they're believing in what we're doing, and the foundation is being built strong. So just their resilience has been something that has excited us.
Nice, Coach. Those are all the questions I have for you. We will now open it up to the media for questions for Coach Scott. All right, Mr. Hill.
Coach Scott, congratulations on all your success. Can you just talk about what you envision this season? And like you said, it starts on Saturday at Richmond, and it's all about Howard University.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, the word of our camp that we've kind of centered everything around is being intentional. And through being intentional, you develop a pretty good process. So for us, it's been huge educationally on just how the process should work towards the preparation that you need to have to be a successful football program, both on and off the field. We're taking care of your bodies, nutrition, sleep, hydration, the way that you approach your classes and your academics and all of those type of things, and the building a culture that's built around winning. So it's been huge from an educational standpoint. And I think what we're ready to do is see some of those things come to life. While we ask you to do some of the things that we ask you to do are things that equate to winning and success between the white lines. So just to have them start to be able to see the connections and get excited about what they're doing on a daily basis, not just game day, but what you do in the process of preparing yourself on Monday, winning on Tuesday, winning on Wednesday, winning on Thursday, and putting yourself in the best position you can to win the game on Saturday. And just understanding that winning between the white lines is a byproduct of winning through the week is what we're trying to really educate these young men on, and trying to get them to understand the bigger piece, and not building just a good football team, but a great football program.
Well said, Coach. Up next, Mr. Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Scott, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Coach. For those who don't know much about Larry Scott and your background, can you give us a brief synopsis? And also for Bison followers, tell us what type of team you expect to field this season, and what kind of team can they expect to see on the field all year?
I'll tell you what, I'll start with the team before I start with myself. The team we want to put out on the field is one that plays, with a lot of passion, with a lot of energy and a love for each other and love for the game. And I think when you have all of that, and you have the formula of being able to mix talent with guys who have a great work ethic and passion, and then they understand why they do what they do, you give yourself a chance to build something pretty special. So that's what we're really focused on from a team standpoint, is the holistic development of them, mind, body, soul, the whole idea of, building a championship caliber program. Myself, I started at the University of South Florida, where I played and coached there for 9 years before going on to the University of Miami as the co-offensive coordinator, tight end coach. and became the interim head coach there my last year, where we, for the last 7 games of the season. Then after that, I went on to the University of Tennessee, where I was the tight end coach, special teams coordinator in my first year, and became the offensive coordinator, the first Black offensive coordinator that Tennessee had in 120 years while I was there. And then from there, I went on to the University of Florida, where I was there for 2 very successful years, where we had a lot of success, won a lot of games, and was around a lot of really good players and those things. But then when the opportunity came to be at the Howard University, it was one that I couldn't turn down, and got really excited about being a part of and helping to reestablish and rebuild this program. So it's a little bit about me in a nutshell as far as where I've been and some of the things I've done.
Coach, thanks a lot and good luck this season.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, up next we have Christopher Heidel.
Hey, Coach Scott, how you doing?
Chris, how you doing?
Hey, I just want to wish you good luck this week against Richmond. And how's your quarterback competition going?
You know what? It's been really good. And I think anytime, obviously, right, you raise the level of competition and put more guys in the room, and guys got to understand what it means to compete on a daily basis. It raises and elevates everybody's play. And then it raises and elevates the play of other positions and people around them. So it's been very, very healthy, not only just in the quarterback room, but for our football team in its entirety. So we're excited about that because we're still relatively young at that position, but we're much more talented. And now, these guys are really starting to get a hold of the system, understand what it is that we do and why we do the things that we do, so that their talent can truly start to begin to come through. And slowing down the mental part of it and the thinking and all of those things. So it's been a healthy competition. And like I said, it's been one that's raised the level of play of all their teammates around them, which you hope happens, especially at that position.
Yeah. And I want to ask you real quick. I didn't ask you on my program a couple of weeks ago, when you were with Miami for that last couple of games, when Al Golden got fired and you took over, what did you learn from being an interim head coach that helps you for now here at Howard?
I'll tell you what, you go from being, one of to being the one that has to be the one every day when you walk in the building. You set the tone, you set the tempo for the whole organization, top to bottom. And with that means, your desk stays, it stays full. You feel like some days you feel like you're a fireman, you just walk around putting out fires all day. But really that experience taught me, for things not to become a fire, being proactive. And everything that we do from our daily planning and scheduling and different things like that to minimize fires so that we can operationally go on clean each and every day and be about the work of what we got to get done, which is the development both on and off the field of our players. So I think the biggest thing was just learning how to be proactive in your approach and everything that you do so that things don't, butt up on you and become fires that you can't put out.
Well, I'm glad to talk to you this morning. I'm glad the internet's not going in and out like we had on my program, but good luck this week with practice, and I'll keep in touch next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, see.
All right, do we have any more questions for Coach Scott? Well, Coach Scott, thank you. Or Chris, did you have another question? Oh, no,
Sorry, I was just trying to get it down.
Okay. Coach Scott, thank you so much for being here with us today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. No problem. See you guys next week.
All right. Take care. The Bison traveled to Richmond, Virginia on Saturday for a 2 p.m. contest against the Richmond Spiders. The game will be shown live on Flow Sports. Up next, we have Coach Rod Milstead of Delaware State University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
How are you?
Glad to be here.
There you go. Well, Coach, the Hornets went 2-3 during the spring season. What did you learn from that experience?
The spring was good for us. Gave us an opportunity to truly evaluate our program, starting with me all the way down to the support staff, and got a chance to see a lot of guys play. We played everybody, so that there was no misunderstanding on who would get the first shot this fall. And because of that, our competition level has grown to a different level than it was in the spring. And the guys were under the understanding that in order for us to be better, we had to be better than where we were in the spring. And so this summer has been really, really good for us, and just excited for Saturday. Our guys are really prepared.
Awesome. So two of your players, defensive back Joanne Granger and linebacker Brooks Parker, have been named to the 2021 Black College Football Player of the Year watch list. Tell us about what they mean to the team.
Start with Joanne Granger. It's kind of crazy. That was a young man that was a walk-on when I got here. And I remember him coming to my office asking me, hey, coach, I just want an opportunity. And of course, gave him an opportunity to come out and play and to see what he can do. And he made the defensive back position, the cornerback position, his own. Every time he was on the field, he was making plays, he was running around. And by the end of the season, I sat down with our coaching staff and we just decided that, we needed to make him a full scholarship athlete. And we did. And we haven't regretted that decision, not 1 second. Brooks Parker came to us as a non-scholarship athlete as well. And just his training camp and how his work ethic and the things that he did, it was a no-brainer for him as well. Matter of fact, Granger and Brooks both got scholarships at the exact same time. And it was a no-brainer. And to see where they are, it's because of their work ethic and their attention to detail. Both of them are really high-functioning student athletes, not just on the football field, but also in the classroom.
Yeah, it's good to see hard work paying off.
Amen.
Yeah, so Bowie State's up first on your schedule. What does the film tell you about them?
They're a good football program. Damon Wilson has done a phenomenal job, probably the last decade, with his program and what he's done. I mean, if you're going to win the CIAA, you got to go through Bowie. They're the two-time defending champs. Have a really good offense, a quarterback that can beat you with his feet. He can also beat you in the air. Got really good skill players to complement him. And then he has a defense that likes to shut people down. Okay, they get after the quarterback. So they're a well-rounded football program. And it's going to take everything we got to really defend them and to really get it going offensively. But I told our guys, don't look at their Division II status. Trust me, he's building a football team that can compete with Division I talent. So it's going to be a good test for us, and we're excited.
Awesome. Well, I wish you good luck. Those are the questions that I have for you. Do any media members have questions for Coach Milstead? Mr. Hill.
Hey, Coach, good morning. I hope you and the family are safe and sound. Can you talk a little bit about building winning human beings and also continuing to grind and build winning football teams?
When I took this program over 2 years ago, there were a lot of things that in my eyesight that need to be adjusted. I wouldn't say fixed, needed some adjustment. And the first thing was to get our kids to understand that you must be a student athlete first, okay? And you must be a good student first in order to have that athlete title stamped to your name. And so once we got that under control and we raised our grade point average, right now we're currently at a 3.1 grade point average, and our graduation rate is really, really successful. So I'm really, really pleased about that. That transcends to the football field. If you got good students academically, those same habits that they create and they have that manifest inside them will eventually transcend to the football field. And that's what we've done. We have a lot of guys watching film, good character guys. And that was part of our recruiting model too. We really had to dig deep and talk to some of the coaches about the kids that we were recruiting, not just on what we saw on the football field, but also how were they in the classroom? How were they in the hallway? How were they? What type of teammates were they? And we changed our recruiting model to reflect the guys that we have here. I mean, I'm very, very blessed. About 96% of the team are the guys that I've recruited, and I'm very, very pleased with that. And we definitely right now I feel really, really confident about the men that I manage. We had practice this morning. I'm not sure what other teams do, but we practice early, okay, so that we don't have any class conflicts. There's no classes from 6 to 8 in the morning, okay, and I know I could have my entire team there without having any disruptions. So we practice at that time, and that was done because I want our kids to have the opportunity to go to class without having to be late, eat a good breakfast, and then go be a regular student all the rest of the day, because the physical part has already been done. Okay, we're done now. We're coaches are being coaches, and we're game planning for tomorrow. And our kids can go be students the rest of the day.
Thank you, sir. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, up next we have Mr. Kendrick Marshall.
Coach, how you doing this morning?
I'm glad to be here, sir.
Yeah, it's hard not to come away from the weekend with the MEAC SWAC challenge and seeing that North Carolina Central pulled off what many think is a huge upset considering the state of their program and the state of the MEAC compared to the SWAC. What does a win like North Carolina Central pulled off on Saturday night kind of prove about the conference in your estimation?
Mr. Marshall, you would probably want to send that question to somebody who's not a child of the MEAC. This is all I know. Okay, I played in the MEAC, so of course I'm going to be biased. Okay, to me, the MEAC is the premier HBCU conference in the country. That's my opinion. I feel that way. So what Central did to me wasn't an upset. The best team won, and that's it. He had his guys ready to play. They capitalized off of the mistakes of Alcorn, and they did their thing. When you look at the MEAC, we still have a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches and a lot of good teams in the MEAC. Every team's, it's going to be a dogfight. Who wins it this year? It's going to be very, very competitive, and we know it. The coaches know it, and our players know it. So, whether, the SWAC has, 15, 16 teams, and we only have 6, it makes no difference. When you put the ball down, everything will be decided then.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Mr. Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning.
Coach, since Bowie State has not played since 2019, when you consider looking at film, do you look at what they did when they ran the table in the CIAA, or do you look at the film in that last game against Carson Newman?
We look at all their film, okay? As much film as we could get. We've watched it. And, I must say that they're a good football team. I'm not taking anything away from them, and that's something that I've been a stickler on all through camp, that we're not going to take them lightly. Don't look at their Division II status. Look at them as a football team coming into your home who wants to embarrass you, period. And I know for their program, it would be a great day for them if they could to come in our home and upset us here. But we've been preparing for them. We watched all their last games that they've had, and they got a chance to see us in the spring. So, they got some recent film to evaluate, and we have to go off of what they did in 2019. But we feel pretty confident. Their offense is very, very dynamic, and you got to stop that quarterback. If you let him get going, like I said, he can beat you with his hand or he can beat you with his feet.
Is there any added pressure to your team, being that, it was spoken about the MEAC and what took place this past weekend, and now you kind of carry that mantelpiece whereas Bowie State looks at it as an opportunity to put the CIAA on front and center?
No. It's a football game, and that's the way we look at it. Like I said, we have been preparing for this. They've been on the schedule now for a long time, so we know they're coming. We know what to prepare for. We're prepared for it. And no, we don't look at them being in the CIAA and us being in the MEAC. It's just a game for us. We're going to go out and give it our best shot, and the outcome is going to be the outcome. But we're playing to win, and that's it. So there's no other discussion. We've never had a discussion. Matter of fact, it's never been brought up until you brought it up just now about any upsets or comparison to what happened this weekend. I'll be honest with you. I really thought that Central had a great chance in beating Alcorn. I really did. I just know Coach Oliver and what he does motivating his guys. And as I was watching the game, it kind of played out the way I thought it would. The team that capitalized off the mistakes would win. And they did. That punt return brought back a lot of memories, because they hit us with a kickoff return by that same young man in 2019. And ESPN guy kept bringing it back up. And so that wasn't a good point. But it goes to show, man, special teams is a big part of your whole dynamic of your program.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, Stephen Gaither.
Let me unmute myself. Good morning, Coach Milstead. How you doing?
Man, I'm glad to be here, sir. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Good to talk with you. You talk about Bowie State and talent that they have. They've got a young man who's up on the Senior Bowl watch list, Joshua Pryor, on the defensive line. Talk about, as a former offensive lineman, talk about the challenges, that he's going to present you guys and preparing for him, who's a pro prospect.
Well, he's a special talent. I mean, he gets off the football. He uses his tools that he has. He has a very good swim move. He can shock you and get off blocks, and then he tracks the ball down. He's got some good length to him. And anytime you're a pro prospect, you're bringing something to the party. So we've been watching him. Got a good feed on him and some beads on him, and we're going to see what he can do against our guys. But not taking anything away from him, he's going to be a challenge for us. Anytime you got a defensive lineman that is that talented, that he's preseason on some watch list, then you got to prepare for him. But then they have to prepare also for a young man by the name of Isaiah Williams that we have. That's also a pro prospect. So it's going to be fun seeing what they do to prepare for him and our D line. And we feel like we have the firepower to slow him down during the course of the game. He's going to make some plays. That's what good players do. He's going to make some plays, but the biggest thing is try to limit the plays that he makes.
Thanks, Coach.
Do we have any more questions for Coach Milstead? If not, Coach, thank you so much for joining us this morning and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The Hornets will host Bowie State on Saturday at 4 p.m. at Alumni Stadium in Dover. The game will be seen live on the MEAC digital network on ESPN+. Up next, we have Norfolk State head coach Dawson Odoms. Good morning, Coach Odoms. How are you?
Good morning. Behold, the green and gold.
Morning, Coach. Well, you get to make your coaching debut as the head coach of the Spartans this Saturday at the University of Toledo. How have your preparations for the game been going so far?
Well, it's just like any other year. I think anytime you start the season, whether you started with a Power 5 or you started with a group of 6, it's a different anxiety. I really think it's about really trying to showcase what kind of program you have. There's going to be a lot of question marks about our program. Guys haven't played in a year and a half or so. So just trying to get those guys understanding the speed of the game. We're going to have to adjust to that. But the preparation has been getting ready for a season opener. I think these guys have the right mindset. And that's really what our whole camp has been about. It's not about the physicality of the game anymore. It's just all about the mental toughness that goes with being a consistent program. And that's what we've been trying to instill in our guys, and they received that very well.
Awesome. NSU has 5 players named to the Black College Football Player of the Year watch list, more than any HBCU. Does that speak to the level of talent that you'll have to work with during your first season at NSU?
Well, yes, I think we have some very good football players here, and it's all about showcasing that talent and being consistent in your performance. I think it's all about being dominant. You're not going to make those lists based on what you did in 2019. You're going to make those lists based on how well you play in 2021. And that's the challenge for our guys, is to get better every day and play with the sense of confidence and the sense of urgency and enthusiasm that's needed to be successful. And if they do that, I think some of those guys will end up on that watch list at the end of the year.
I agree. Juwan Carter will be entering his 4th season as a signal caller for the Spartans. He's earned several preseason honors, including MEAC Preseason Player of the Year. How has he looked during preseason workouts, and how has he fit into the strategies that you've implemented for the program?
Well, I think he's done a great job. I think he's growing as a person. He's growing as a quarterback. We ask our quarterbacks to be great game day managers. You don't have to be above and beyond what your talent level is. And I think he's done a great job of that. He has a lot of talent around him on the offensive side of the ball, just getting him to play within the offense, make the smart decisions, make good decisions with the football, take care of the football. When there's something not there, throw the football away, give us a chance to play another down. Just see that growth in him is what I'm happy about. He's continuing to get better each and every day. He's the leader of our offense. We know as he go, we go. And the best thing is having a guy back there that's had a lot of playing experience. And I think anytime you got a good quarterback, you got a chance. And I think we got a very good quarterback. So we like our chances as long as he can stay healthy. And our offensive line's doing a great job of protecting him. And we're able to run the football. I think that takes a lot of pressure off of him. But he's as cool as they come. And I'm happy he's a quarterback for Norfolk State Spartans.
Great to hear that, Coach. Those are all of my questions. Mr. James Hill has a question for you.
Coach, good morning, sir. I hope you and the family and the Spartans Nation are well. You've inherited a tremendous roster. Can you talk about putting your stamp on this ball club and it all meshing together and going out and getting W's?
Well, I guess in time we'll see how well that process is coming. I think it is a process. I think that's something that we are good at, is understanding that we're process driven. And usually when you follow that process, you have a chance to yield some results. Discipline is a big part of our program. Really trying to get the little things taught. We always harping on the small things. The day is our first day of classes, just making sure we execute the day. We understand it's all about winning, but we believe in winning those little battles before we ever can win those big battles. And we're going to have an opportunity. I think we're taking a good football team up to Toledo. They just haven't played in a while. And hopefully that long layoff is something that we can overcome. But I'm excited to see this team play. I think it is an exciting football team, and I think it's a good football team. But that's TBA. I think once we play, we'll have a better understanding about our football team as we get closer to week 4.
Thank you, sir.
Stephen Gaither.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Doing great, Mr. Gates. Thanks for asking.
Good. Again, we can finally hear. I know we talked a lot about, and you asked a lot about Mr. Carter, and rightfully so. But talk to us about your running game. And at Southern, the running game was a very big part of what you guys did. And you got a couple of great backs there, in Smith and Johnson, and just talk to us about your running game and what we can expect out of them this year in your scheme.
Well, I think running the football is important. I think that'll allow you a chance to play some really good football as a team. I think it'll allow you to control the clock. I know we live in the spread world of today's offenses, but I'm still defensive minded. I think you can play great defense, great special teams, and you can run the football and have a lot of success. And we have a quarterback that allow us to be able to throw the football as well. But our running back core is a solid group of guys. They have some experience. We got 2 young guys that you mentioned that are coming off great campaigns in 2019, and they're eager to play. And we got a little bit of depth. We go about 4 running backs deep at that position, and we got some special guys in that group. And I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off our quarterback because teams are going to have to honor our running game. And if you load the box, we got a signal caller back there at QB that can stretch the field vertical. So I really like the dynamics that we have on offense. And it really starts with Carter, but those 2 running backs are doing an outstanding job for us. And as they continue to improve, so will our offense.
And then secondly, I'll ask Trey Oliver, your former defensive coordinator, former teammate, North Carolina Central, picked up a big win the other day in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. How happy were you for him to get that win on that national stage and not only just represent the MEAC, but just for him as someone that you know and you've worked with closely?
Well, it's a lot of guys on that staff that I've worked with closely and known and played with. We're in school together. So I'm just happy for those guys. I think anytime you get a chance to be on national TV, whether you're representing yourself, your family, your institution, or this conference, you got an outstanding opportunity to do some things and do them very well. So I was proud of those guys. I think it's an opportunity for people to see that the program that Coach Oliver is trying to build down there, turning things around. that's a great way to start. You always want to go 1-0, and they were able to do that. And I think it's great for our conference. Anytime we're able to play against what everybody considers the best conference in HBCU, to be able to knock them off and be able to say that, hey, we still here too. We play really good football in the MEAC. And he had no problem with letting people know that. And I know him as a person, and I know him as a friend. And I was very happy for those guys because, you know, they were the underdog, but they went in there and handled business. And I think that's why you spot the ball and you play. You can't worry about what everybody else say, what everybody else think. In this game, you'll get an opportunity to play. And I was happy they had an opportunity to play and play very well and did enough to win a football game.
Thanks, Coach.
Mr. Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach Odoms.
Good morning, Mr. Daniels. How you doing?
Super fantastic, sir. So during your tenure in the SWAC at Southern University, Alcorn was a huge nemesis for you. What did that win for North Carolina Central say to you regarding the talent and the level of competition in the MEAC?
Well, I mean, I've been a part of this conference before. I mean, I think the talent has always been in this conference. I think when you look at it top to bottom, any given Saturday, anybody can beat anybody. I mean, you go look at it from the last time they was out, and I think you look at the success that Morgan has had when they play A&T. You look at the success of other teams playing against each other. I think any given Saturday, you got to have your football team prepared to play. You can't look at what happened the previous game, or you can't look at the next game. It's all about the now. And I think that's what the process that we have is all about, is focusing on what's in front of you and really trying to make sure that you're locked in and you're ready to play, because any given week you can beat anybody. And I really believe that in the MEAC, and I believe it's been that much parity, but I think you got to play and you got to first believe. And I think that's what happened, what we saw in the MEAC SWAC challenge. I thought Coach Oliver had a football team that, hey, he had them believing, and as that game went along, they belief grew and grew, and then at the end of the day, they made enough plays. And I think that's why you play the game. And I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to be back in this conference, because there's some good coaches in this conference, some good players in this conference. And each time we get a chance to showcase it, we're going to represent very well. And by playing very well and by playing with the right integrity and honesty that represent this program like it always has been.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to the Spartans this year.
Thank you.
And Mr. Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach. Good morning to you. How are you?
Doing great, Mr. Miller. Thanks.
According to reports, Baton Rouge was not hit as hard, but any thoughts and concerns you want to share about the state of Louisiana as they deal with Hurricane Ida?
Well, our prayers, our prayers go out to all of those that are going to be affected. This is not a 24-hour ordeal. We're talking weeks and months of a devastation that these individuals are probably going to have to endure. And we went through it when I was there in 2016 with a national flood. It's just the one thing about the people of Louisiana, they strong. They believe in their city, they believe in their states, and they'll rebound. But this is one that's probably going to hit them probably harder than any other hurricane that's ever come through there. And you can see some of the damage as daylight began to rise today. So we're praying for them. Any kind of thing that we can do to try to offer help and support, I know we're willing to support them. And we're thankful that so far hasn't been a lot of lives claimed, but we know that number is probably going to rise. So we're praying for all the individuals that are in the state of Louisiana.
Thank you, Coach.
Any more questions for Coach Odoms? Our hearts and prayers definitely do go out to the people in Louisiana dealing with Hurricane Ida. Coach Odoms, thank you for being with us today, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Behold, the green and gold.
Norfolk State will travel to Ohio this Saturday to face the University of Toledo. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. and the game will be live on ESPN3. Up next, we have Buddy Pugh of South Carolina State University. Good morning, Coach Pugh. How are you? Oh, you're muted, Coach.
I got too many things to undo here. Yeah. Good morning, Karen. How are you?
Good, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Well, the Bulldogs finally get to open up what will hopefully be a full season. How eager are you and the team ready to get going on Saturday at Alabama A&M?
Very eager. I told our team yesterday at our practice and our staff this morning that, if you're not excited, then you're in the wrong place. This is it. We get a chance to go out and play a full season of college football. We were, I guess, somewhat successful in the spring, going through the abbreviated schedule that we had, but, it was just an abbreviation. It was not a full deal. The stands were empty and the schedule was just 4 games. And we opened up with a team that beat the starch out of us down here, at our place. So, we own. And, we just hope that now that they've hit us in the head and got us a little bit dizzy, we can shake it off and figure out what the heck happened and maybe go back and try it again.
Yes, Coach. Well, hopefully y'all can get it together. During media day, you mentioned that one of the things that benefited you all was playing that abbreviated schedule in the spring. You talked about the offensive line and how they had a chance to develop. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, we've got a nice little group of young guys that are playing up front for us, a couple freshmen and a couple medium-aged kind of guys, sophomores, somewhere over in there. Heck, I don't know what anybody's eligibility is these days, now that we got this forgiveness and all that kind of stuff planned. But, we're excited about the front that we're putting out there. We're excited about our entire team, actually, and what could possibly be. We're a little bit banged up. We've gone through camp, and it was a pretty, I guess, maybe physical camp. I thought we were doing things a lot easier, in this new age of college football, but we still seem to be getting little nicks and bruises, hands and fingers and stuff like that. We got 2 or 3 guys that seem to be getting fingers caught in, I guess, maybe jerseys and helmets and that kind of stuff. But, we're getting ready to play now. It's that week off and everybody gets healthy. You got guys limping around about 10 days out, but, you start trying to put together those travel rosters and that kind of stuff. People actually going to the game and everybody gets to be real, real healthy at that point. So we're starting to get people back and, I'm excited and ready to go.
Good to hear that, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
You all enter the season with a target on your back, preseason number 1 pick. How's the team responding to being predicted to finish first?
Well, this is South Carolina State. We generally are somewhere up in there, when you start talking about predictions. But, it's got nothing to do with the end result. We got to actually go through and make this happen. So, it gives a reasonable expectation, but it gives a high expectation. And too much is expected. Much is expected. How about that deal? So if you go about the task of earning that kind of responsibility, then you got to match, you got to actually measure up. So, we got to go out and do it. You can't talk your way through this deal. You got to actually do it. That's all talk, Karen. Got nothing to do with do. We got to do now. So we've actually now got our chance.
Absolutely, Coach. All right, we'll have our first question from Ty Miller.
Coach, good morning to you.
Hey, Ty, how are you?
I'm good, Coach. You know that during the offseason, the transfer portal came into play where players can move about, freely now. Has that been a big, has that effect upon your team as well in terms of getting transfers in?
Not much. We've got some grad transfer guys that are just kind of walk-on kind of guys for us. We haven't taken very many scholarship guys that way. We've had one defensive lineman. If you saw the Illinois Nebraska game on Saturday, one of our guys transferred to Illinois as a defensive lineman, Rod Perry, and wanted to play wanted to play last fall. And of course, the Big Ten started to kind of waffle about their play after he had gotten there. And then he had an ankle injury. So he ended up being back again this year. But besides that, it's been kind of much business as usual for us, Ty. the transfer portal is so full now of guys who, wish they hadn't gotten in until I think it might be slowing down a little bit at our level. A lot of guys are in there because they weren't quite good enough to play at the place they were at. And then once they get in the portal, they don't necessarily find a school willing to give them an opportunity that way either. So, it's not quite the utopia of the great situation that some guys seem to think it was when they got in it.
And Coach, what were the pluses and minuses of having a short season this past spring?
Well, I thought it gave us an opportunity to get a lot more development. The fact that we had missed the entire fall, was almost like, a death wish, to some of our programs, I thought. And the fact that you only got the 15 practice days this spring, a normal spring, if you hadn't had the spring practice. So we got an opportunity to do a lot more. We started practicing, I guess, maybe around the end of January. And we went on and off from that point on all the way through, I guess, mid-April. And we would have never had the opportunity to do that much, if it hadn't been for the spring season.
And lastly, Coach, I know you've been around a long time and we've talked a long time. How do you feel about being the dean of HBCU football coaches at this point in your career?
I feel old. Not really, though. You know what? I'm more excited today to get up and go to work. I couldn't hardly sleep the last few nights, wanting to get up and go and see if we could figure out, how to do something, mean to Alabama A&M.
Thank you, Coach.
How to fix their fans, but it's just a tremendous pleasure and opportunity to continue to be, able to do what I do at the age that I am. And I appreciate it. It's hard to get a deal where both parties think they got the better end of it. I think South Carolina State feels good about, what we've done over the years here. And I'm happy about that. I can tell you, I'm sure happy, with my opportunities and the fact that I've had a chance to do what I've done here for as long as I have. So, it's an enjoyable daily occurrence for me doing all of what I do. So you don't ever have to worry about me being sad about going to work, given the circumstances of what I do on a daily basis.
Well, Coach, good luck on the season as well.
Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you.
All right, Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. How are you, sir?
Morning, James Hill. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Can you talk a little bit about your 20th campaign is coming up and how special it will be for the Bulldogs Nation? Also, the first month, as you said, is on the road, and what it would mean to you to win a championship this season.
Well, I think we've got to pretty much weather that first month. First off, we got to come out of it, whole and confident. Alabama A&M beat us up really badly during the spring. We go back to play there. That's a concern. I think everybody kind of understands the situation with Clemson, game 2. And then we go to New Mexico State, game 3. So we play those 3 games on the road, in circumstances that we'll probably be underdogs in all 3. So, it's going to be big for us to come out of that, and come back home in October, in a state of mind that gives us the opportunity to be able to continue to play well. So it'd be great if we could win 2 or 3 of those games. We need to win all 3, but at the same time, if we could win 2, if we could play good in all 3, that probably would suffice at that point. Then we kind of, reboot and get ready to go again in the way where, I think we'd be all right from that point on.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this year.
Thank you, James.
All right, up next, Mr. Jeff Hartzell.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Fine, Jeff. How are you? Where are you from, Jeff?
Charleston Post-Courier, Coach.
Okay, great. I thought that might be you. Go for it.
That's me. I wanted to talk to you about your low country connection of Corey Fields and Shaq Davis. What are you expecting from those guys this year?
A lot. Let's hope Shaq stays. I think maybe the biggest, prettiest thing almost in HBCU football and Corey can throw it around pretty good. That daggone boy out at Alabama A&M is a good player, Akil Glass. But Corey's a younger version of the same kind of guy, we hope. And, a tremendous person, tremendous ability, off the field as well as on. Both guys are doing extremely well in school. And we'll probably, if they decide to do so, maybe have masters by the time that they graduate from, by the time they play out the eligibility here at South Carolina State. So, both guys are quality people who I enjoy seeing every day.
How has Corey improved in his time at SC State?
Say it again.
How has Corey improved in his time at SC State?
He's become more confident. He was really a quiet, kind of unassuming guy. He's at the point now where, he's in charge. He understands, leadership in a way where, he's become more vocal. He was mostly a example by do guy as opposed to example by say guy. And he still is a do guy, but at the same time, he's really improved his leadership skills. He understands, how to actually run our entire offensive football team now. Once upon a time, he'd be kind of do what we said do. Now he can actually fix things out there. So he knows where everybody is. So he understands the offense in a way where he's a real field general in a way that he can run things from top to bottom.
And I have one more question. I think you were originally scheduled to play the Citadel on September 18th. Was that New Mexico State game a financial necessity? And do you still plan? Do you still plan to have?
Yeah, and I used to schedule here. I don't schedule much anymore. But yeah, my administration put that deal together. And, I'm not even exactly sure how much it is, but obviously that's a big part of why we did it, yes.
Do you still hope to have that home and home with the Citadel in the future?
I'd love to, exactly. I've got a strong connection down there. My oldest boy played down there back 8 or 10 years ago. And, he's beat me up too about the fact that we didn't play this year. So yeah, I gotta go back and fix that up. So at least at some point or other.
Well, I remember Bud. I hope he's doing well. Thanks, Coach.
Thank all right, thank you.
Mr. Gaither?
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Doing great. You talk about
where
Alabama.
You at? Hey, Stephen, where you at?
I am in North Carolina, just above.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Just
above
Lake
Norman. New face. I try to talk to everybody, at least know where everybody is.
Yes, sir.
It's good seeing you. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. You had a chance to play Alabama A&M, same team twice in 1 year, pretty different situation. But just talk about, we talk about Glass, but talk about the weapons that he has as well as a wide receiving core and even his tight ends that make defending Alabama A&M so dangerous, even though you guys were able to pick him off early in that first game.
You're exactly right. Akil Glass has got a real complement of guys around him. The running back guy, the little Charles guy, is a scat back guy, who can help him in the passing game as well as in the run game. He's I guess maybe big play guy in a lot of different ways. Cameron Young is also, a good running back for them. And then they got 3 wide receivers, and one that you don't even hear much about, Brian Jenkins, this little boy, is running around down there. He makes plays all over the place. And they stick him in the middle and isolate him on your inside guys a good bit. But, the Ibrahim guy is a big play guy. He's a deep ball guy. Xavier Moore, is another, and they're older guys. Xavier is like a grad transfer guy. And Hilaire is another guy, number 6 for them. That's a burner. So you can't gang up on them in any kind of way. They've got enough different weapons. And then, the tight ends are mostly receiver guys. They'll block you some, but they really want to catch the football. They want to really run routes and make big plays. So they got enough people around him that, he can spread the football around in a way that you can't really gang up on any one person. So you got to play the whole field. And what really, makes them exciting is the fact that I think Coach Cunningham is doing a fantastic job. I don't know exactly who's running that offense down there, but those guys do a nice job of keeping you off guard and really making you, play all the different complements. They keep you in conflict in a lot of ways where you think you got to play this and you need to be playing that at the same time, and you can't do both. One messes up your technique on the other. So they do a nice job of designing their offense in a way that you can't really tee off on any one facet.
Right. And then secondly, I'll ask, since you're talking about, you being the dean of coaches in HBCUs, and obviously the MEAC has dominated the SWAC over the last couple of decades.
It has. Make sure you say that again. Say it again.
The numbers bear it out. Why do you think that is? That the conference has had that much success, and you guys as well have definitely been a big part of that.
Well, you know what? We talk a lot of junk to each other, but at the same time, you fortunate enough to win a game anytime you win a game. I can tell you that that's got nothing to do with, what happens in the future. You got to go out and earn everything you get, from this point on. Yes, we've had pretty good luck against the SWAC in our years. In the years that I've been around here, I think we've got, a winning record against pretty much everybody. But at the same time, that don't mean you don't get your fanny kick next week or this week in this particular case. So you got to get yourself ready to go. And I can tell you that both leagues right now can take care of themselves. We'll figure a way to deal with our circumstances, as we find them here, just as well as those guys, seem to be thinking that they've got the whole world, in their hand right now. But, we'll figure it out. We'll get what we got to get to do. I got confidence in our administration and our presidents and all other people that's involved in the operation of our league in a way that we'll figure out what to do next.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, next, Mr. Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. And
hey, Mike. Where you at, Mike? Where's that at?
I'm out of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, okay. My son is works for the NCAA in Indianapolis.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Hopefully I get a chance to meet him.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Well, since you have the fortune of playing Alabama A&M for the second time, do you think there are some advantages of being able to play them for a second time this year, even though you were just a little bit unsuccessful in the spring game against them? But with the performance that North Carolina Central put up against Alcorn, do you think South Carolina State will be able to back that up as well against another SWAC opponent?
Well, we are going to give it our very best. Now, whether, Mike, that means that we can go in there and upset what is thought to be the top team in HBCU football at this point at their place in front of their first big crowd in 2 years, in a year where they kick off the season of the retirement of their president, who's also a big South Carolina State guy. I don't know. I can tell you this though, and that we're gonna give it everything we got, and I'm sure they're gonna do the same. So, we feel confident in the fact that we've got a pretty good little team here. But let me tell you something, they beat us. It wasn't close. It was 30-something to 7. And they beat the starch out of us at our place. And, I don't know if we can play with these guys or not, but I tell you what, we're going to try.
Well, yes, sir. Well, much success on the upcoming game this weekend. And we'll talk with you on next Monday.
So much. Thank you so much. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach Pugh, thank you for your time and good luck against Alabama A&M this weekend. We will see you on Monday.
Karen, look forward to seeing you next week.
Same here, Coach.
And everybody
South Carolina State Bulldogs will face the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Up next, we have head coach at Morgan State University, Mr. Tyrone Wheatley. Morning, coach.
Good morning.
How are you?
As Coach Pugh said, there's too many things to be, unmuting, turning this camera on. A lot
You
going
got
on.
it,
How you
though.
doing?
I'm good, coach. Good to see you again. How are you?
All is well.
Good to hear that. So the Bears are just a few days away from opening their first season in 2 years. How much has the team improved since you played last in 2019?
I know we improved, in a lot of ways, maturity-wise. We're a young team, as anybody who comes in who's trying to rebuild and, to rebuild and place infrastructure. You have a young team, so we got a chance to get some repetitions in the spring, grow, understand, and build culture. So we improved a lot.
Awesome. Great to hear that. So tell us a little bit about your preseason MEAC players, Marvin Atuatuasi, Mourinho Dendo, and Devin Hebron.
Well, man, I can't, I'm smiling. I can't speak enough about these guys. It's great to have exceptional, talented players, but when they're great human beings, I feel like they're my own. I feel like I'm speaking about my own children. And trust me when I tell you, the smile is genuine. Marvin Atuatasi is from the island of Samoa, Pago, and he's an exceptional person. One of the most diligent, hardworking young men. He came off a catastrophic foot injury, and he worked diligently to get back. He's going to be that anchor on our offensive line. Mourinho Dendo, another guy from a foreign land of Denmark. He's worked his tail off to change his body. He's done a lot of things off the field to become a better football player. Film study, like I said, changed his body, health and conditioning, all those things. And then Dev Hebron. What a better story than Dev Hebron. Came in as a walk-on. 4.0 student, one of the best students. Well, all three of the guys are great students. Hebron, 4.0, earned a 50% scholarship, turned around, earned a full scholarship, and now he has just become not only a vocal leader, but a very, very look at what I do and how I do leader. Very accountable people, these young men are. So we promote team success, but we also honor and respect individual success. So I am just so thrilled to see these three young men play.
Sounds like they've been doing it both on and off the field.
Yes.
Towson, is your opening opponent. What type of matchup should that be for the Bears?
It's going to be a pretty good matchup. I really think it's going to be a good matchup. Both of us are unknown. They had Flacco a couple years ago, and the coach is trying to basically find out who his next quarterback is going to be. They got the transfer from Liberty. They have another couple transfers in. So we're trying to figure out who's going to be that guy, right? They also, on the defensive end, they got a couple of linebackers in that are pretty good, a couple of defensive back transfers that are pretty good. They play in a great conference. The CAA, I think they're ranked 39th, and everyone else, I think they got maybe 5 other people in that conference that are ranked in the top 30. So it's an incredible conference, a very disciplined conference, a strong physical conference. Of course, the one who spearheads that is James Madison. So everyone's chasing that expectation in that conference. But for us, just like with us, congrats to North Carolina Central for getting an incredible win for themselves and as well as the MEAC. So we're getting better. Our conference is getting better. And I hope to see our conference, everyone in our conference in the top 25 in next year. So it's going to be an incredible matchup for us. It's the Battle of Baltimore. There's so many things that goes into that game. Battle of recruitment, battle for the city, bragging rights, and so on and so forth. But I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
Awesome, Coach. Now we'll have our first question from Christopher Heidel.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking my question this morning. I grew up watching you when you were with the Giants and all that stuff. So congratulations being at Morgan State.
Well, thank you, sir.
Talk about this Battle of Baltimore. I talked to Coach Ambrose the other day, and this is something that he's been working on for years to try to get you guys to play every year. And you guys been playing for every year except for last year with the pandemic. What was it like for a short bus trip? Having Towson come like basically like a couple blocks over.
I tell you, it feels great, but sports is built on rivalry, right? It's built on rivalry, and I think that Baltimore needs this. Baltimore needs this for so many reasons, but we need a good rivalry, right? We have the rivalry within our conference, but at the same time, an out-of-conference rivalry is huge. And like I said, there are so many implications. There's recruiting implications, and then just to see who has the bragging rights within the city. But they're great institution. Great football coach. Playoffs a couple years ago, so we have a lot to prove.
Yeah. And also talk about your coaching staff. You got Kobe Jones, you got Derek Alexander on your roster as your coach. You have Omar Smith, who was the arena football coach. You got basically people who have ties to Baltimore, and I guess you want to have Brian Billick's squad to come over to help you guys out at Morgan State.
Well, no, listen, because I mean that's really it's essential. If you got to recruit home, you have to start right.
Right.
10-mile radius, 20-mile, 25, 30. You have to start at home. And not only these guys are just names, they're not just names. They're darn good ball coaches, developers of men. So I believe in bringing people in who can teach not just football, but just teach young men how to become men and to grow. Because if you got good people, they're going to be good football players. If you got not so good people, it's hard to coach them to be good football players.
Yeah. Real quick before I let you go, Tulane, you play them after Towson. Is it still going to be on because of the hurricane? Do you know anything about that right now?
Well, my prayers and thoughts go out to those down there. Such bad, atrocity and weather.
Yeah.
We don't know just yet. Just out of due respect to them, we want to let things unfold. From what I understand, no one on the campus that are sport-wise or on the campus, they're out right now. So just out of respect to them, not to put anything out there just yet, let them go through their ordeal and deal with it. But so as I know of now, I would say the game is on until we know otherwise.
Right. Well, good luck this weekend, and game one is always important. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Mr. James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and the family are well. Can you speak a little bit about what the Morgan State University Bears football program and that legacy means to you personally and what you would like to see this season?
Oh, the legacy is incredible. I've joined forces with the football family, and they've done a great job of coming out, teaching the guys the fight song, hearing their stories, and the ground, the sacred ground that these men walk on. And for me as a coach, sometimes it comes across as propaganda and trying to get them to buy into something. But when they're hearing it from the men who've actually done it, that sat in the actual seats and walked the actual grounds that they've walked on, it means so much. And right now we're just trying to return the glory, right? We're just trying to return the glory, basically repave the streets of gold that these men have walked before us. We're just trying to repave them and create our own path. But that path is leading to success and future Hall of Famers as well.
Good luck this season, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Gaither.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm fine. And you? How you doing?
Doing great this morning. Just talk to us. We talk about North Carolina Central and Coach Oliver getting their win, and you guys came into the league the same year and kind of had the same situation where you had a year that you played and then you had this year off. How do you feel? How do you feel that your younger players that you've have developed, and maybe some of the guys that you've seen develop from when you first got in here to where you are now as you get ready to start your second season?
Oh, the growth has been great, but there's nothing like playing football, right? I mean, the dress rehearsal isn't like basketball or like any other sport, right? But to speak on their growth, we've been on campus when it's just basically us on campus, no distractions. So they've had football and they've grown. I've had a chance to see their bodies change. They came in, looking like wet poodles. Now they're looking like big bulldogs, man. I mean, they look really good from that standpoint. Football, just understanding how to watch film, understanding how to be accountable, how to hold others accountable, and just basically just being diligent in their job and what they're supposed to do. it's been exciting to watch them grow. And I told them this morning in our team meeting, I know their mom, dad, and grandmothers and aunties, whoever else may think that they're their biggest fan. No, I'm their biggest fan. I am their biggest fan right now because I had a chance to see that growth. I had a chance to see all the hard work. It's little things like never sitting in a cold tub, right? And when you see a freshman for the first time sitting in a cold tub and he's looking at me like, Coach, why do I have to do this? To now he's doing it on his own. He's doing the massage gun, the Normatec boots. He's doing all the little things to get himself ready so he can play and be his best. And when you see that, man, it just see these guys buy in and invest into the program. It makes your heart smile. So I am their huge fan right now. And I just can't wait to see these guys buckle up and get out there and go.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Awesome. We have a question from Ed.
Morning, Tyrone. Going back to the question about Jacoby Jones and Derek Alexander, from your perspective, how have you seen that experience play out in terms of mentoring your players?
Well, the biggest thing is being there, right? Being there. No matter. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just being there. Being in that seat, no matter the age difference, the era of football is football, And like we just talked about, being a receiver, Jacoby Jones coaching the tight ends. Being a receiver, you're going to run a lot. Muscles are being sore. Derek Alexander just bringing these guys to the side and saying, hey, listen, you got to get in the Normatec boots. You have to stretch. You have to do all these things to get yourself ready. Giving these guys nuggets and tricks of the trade. It's almost like inside investing, right? You would love to have that guy that works on Wall Street to tell you what's going to pop next. You would love that. Well, I have that with these guys. And the receivers and the tight ends have grown expeditiously in that regard. Also, little tricks on how to release, all the good things, right? So, but when the biggest thing is like I talked about, is just distractions. Talking to these guys, because these guys have played not only, and Jacoby can relate a little bit more because he was an HBCU guy, right? So he understands what the first day of school is like. He understands when, I have to say it, when these beautiful young ladies start walking on campus, how to focus in, put the blinders on. And so with that, they understand it and they walk the walk and they can help these young men.
Do you get a sense that the players listen to those guys more because of their past experience in the NFL?
Yes. I mean, they do. They absolutely do. It's amazing because, I'll get some questions and I'm like, well, what does that matter? And they're like, well, you played. So I just want to know, how did you, what were you sleeping? And then they'll be reading. I give you a funny story, just a funny story. They're like, Coach, you guys used to sleep in these hyperbaric chambers. I was like, yeah, that was a fad back in the 90s, like in the mid 90s. So, but they're reading and they're trying to get tips on how to be better. And so they're coming to us with things that they've heard from other players and other places. And Coach, what about this? And we just say, hey, some of those things are not tested, but these are the things that's tested from us, that's tried and true, that we know to work, right? So they hang on our every word. And I think that is what you want as a coach, when you have players that want to get better and that want to find things out that they can make themselves successful, they'll believe you. And I think that's the biggest thing that I have in Derek Alexander, Jacoby Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was the final question for Coach Wheatley. Thank you, Coach, for being with us today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Morgan State will open its season on Saturday at home against Towson. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. and the game will be broadcast live on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN+. This concludes our initial MEAC Weekly Head Coaches video conference. But before we end the call, we'd like to thank all of the media members who joined us today, the MEAC Sports Information offices for their assistance with today's call, and all of the MEAC's corporate sponsors. Our next call will be next Monday, September 6th at 10 a.m. As always, for up-to-date news on the MEAC football and other sponsored sports, log on to MEACsports.com, like the MEAC on Facebook, follow MEAC Sports on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to the MEAC Digital Network on YouTube. Once again, everyone, thank you for joining us today and have a great football week.